That's a bad plan.
Look at the difference in terms of experience. Jones, 110 amateur fights in an illustrious amateur career. Johnson only 12 amateur bouts.
Well, I think that statistic is being reflected in the ring right now. He's being outclassed, outsped, outfought by Roy Jones. If indeed Stephan Johnson's strategy is to start fighting after the third round, he's made a mistaken strategy because he's getting eaten up right here.
I have noticed Stephan Johnson wearing the Star of David on his trunks. He's a member of the Black and Hispanic Brooklyn group known as the Hebrew Israelites. So he wears the Star of David on the right side of the trunk. Let's say the left side of the trunk.
It's not helping him too much here. That right hand is just taking the fight right out of Stephan Johnson. Right hand by Roy Jones, which is landing with such accuracy. He's throwing it almost like a jab. There it is again. He just has disregard totally for any offense Stephan Johnson might have in mind. Well, Pappy Galt said to me right before we started, I'm looking for a fourth round knockout. I don't see this going the distance. And Pappy has trained him for 8 rounds, but I don't think he's going to use up all 8 rounds.
And we're coming up on 15 seconds left in round 3, and as they say in the amateur ranks, Roy Jones is painting Stephan Johnson. Another overwhelming round for Roy Jones.
Giving him the distance. Say what now? You're slipping shots, but you're giving him the distance. He's breathing like crazy. You slip shots, stay close to him. Hands up.
Listen, he's slowing down.
Yeah, you know.
I want you to come on.
One more round.
No, fourth round. Now the second. Come on.
Full pressure, Papi, now, okay?
Come on.
Argentina, Rivas, Joe Scorsia, the manager of Stephan Johnson, Rivas, the trainer. In that discussion between rounds, it is on to round 4. And I would assume the Fight Doctor scorecard has it all Roy Jones.
It's a total shutout, 30-27. It's funny, in the corner they were trying to animate their fight. I said, well, it's the 4th round now, so pick it up now, and because he's slowing down. He's getting tired. He's slowing down.
And Johnson was also told that his punches, in fact, were slowing down.
Well, he's fighting more starting this 4th round than he had before. Before, he's just purely catching. Now he's throwing something. At least he's starting an offensive of his own.
Johnson reaching and then got caught by Jones.
Jones has great reflexes. I mean, that's when you get close to him, punches rain on you from every angle. But he's got an awful lot to learn as a pro. But this is only his 2nd fight, so hard to make any determination.
Halfway through round 4, it is scheduled for 8. 20-year-old Roy Jones out of Pensacola, Florida, continues to land combinations on the 21-year-old Stephan Johnson, a native of Brooklyn.
So far, the corner has not told Johnson how to avoid that right hand. That's what they should be working on. Tell him to keep that glove up there. This guy's hitting you with every right hand he throws. Right hand leads should not land with regularity.
Again, Jones able to rock Johnson.
Johnson can take a punch. That right hand should have put him down. It drove him all the way across the ring into the ropes, but he's made his recovery. He's back fighting. Johnson doesn't have any steam on his punches. And Jones just appears to be getting stronger.
And Stephan Johnson continues to keep away from Roy Jones. A lot of room between the two. Final seconds, round 4.
How do you keep a major city running smoothly? Atlanta does it with Quaker State Motor Oil. In every fire truck, every police car, every Atlanta city-owned vehicle.
The big Q stands for quality. This is what happens with that wide-open style that you're throwing punches from every angle. Now watch Jones get caught right there. That's what happens when you don't care about defense. You just got offense going for you. If he's going to be a finished pro, he's going to have to come in with a little bit better defense. Right now, he doesn't need to, because Stephan Johnson is not presenting a big threat.
And this is round 5 with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, Marv Albert. We are located in the ballroom of the Atlantic City Convention Center. First part of our NBC boxing doubleheader. Later on, it will be Vinny Pazienza going against Vinny Bergese. Stephan Johnson in the black trunks continues to stay outside, away from Roy Jones.
In that way, he thinks he's avoiding punishment. Actually, he's getting caught with that right hand far out. He probably would be doing better to step inside and try to rough him up, try to get him out of his game plan, fight with him instead of trying to outbox him. He's losing the boxing match. Well, what we've seen so far, Roy Jones is living up to his promise. What you're looking at is an extremely good prospect for a boxer-puncher. A guy that can box, but at the same time can turn loose those punches and knock you out. Right now, what you're looking at is the kind of thing that makes you drool when you see it in a gymnasium for a young kid.
Roy Jones was the youngest member of the United States Olympic boxing team, only 19 years of age when he fought in Seoul. He was awarded the Val Barker Cup Outstanding Boxer of the Games. It seemed like an acknowledgement of guilt by the international boxing officials.
They've done just about everything other than invent. Oh, good right hand. Stephan must have a hard chin. He took that one, and he's back up there for more target practice.
Stephan Johnson has never been down. And that is both as an amateur, though he had a brief amateur career, and in the professional ranks.
Well, he's certainly taken enough hard shots to go down here. And in the meantime, we'll never know how Jones takes a punch off of this, because he has not gotten hit with any really effective punches yet.
That will wrap it for the 5th round, scheduled for 8.
You know,
The Bergese, the Tasmanian Devil returns live on NBC Sports World.
Okay, I did that. Don't worry.
that's his goddamn glove.
Look, I got it.
No. Them on your head? Yeah.
That's mouthpiece in.
Y'all got it ready?
Come on, Dad. Let's go, son. Come on, man. This is your day. Nothing but a go-go. Go.
And that is Roy Jones Sr. coming out of the corner of his son, Roy Jones, well in front, having no difficulty at all with Stephan Johnson. Roy Jones, not one who's considered to be a knockout puncher, more of a, as you mentioned earlier, combination puncher, and will get the knockouts in time due to a accumulation of blows.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, here comes Stephan Johnson. Now, this is his attack. He has been waiting for these later rounds. Now comes the shootout, as promised by Stephan Johnson. He said, I'll lay it all out in those last 3 rounds.
Yes, Johnson stepping it up. Coming out to get involved here in the 6th round.
And to Jones' credit, he's not stepping back. He's stepping in, saying, you want to have it out? Let's go. There's a lot of fighter in Roy Jones, a lot of heart. We saw it in the Olympics. We're seeing it here. He just doesn't go back. He just decides, let's stand in and have it.
And suddenly, Stephan Johnson moving inside. He had stayed away throughout the bout.
And for very good reason. He's getting powdered outside. At least inside, he's got some chance to land his own stuff. Now he's gone back outside. I guess he didn't like it inside. One of the knocks will be, since this is only his second fight, he has just not gone to the body. He's just not... he's a learning fighter. That's why I'm so against the guy going for the title that early. Let him learn how to go to the body. Let him learn how to do his work. If he had been punching to the body with the same authority that's been punching to the head, by now Stephan would be ready to go.
Under a minute left in the 6th round. Roy Jones people have to be surprised that it has gone this far.
Perfect right hand right off the chin of Stephan Johnson. Still there he sits. He's getting worn out, but he sure is taking these punches well. Stephan Johnson just took a big gulp of air. And a little hot doggy. Roy Jones, the kind that is not going to endear him to the public.
Particularly in this type situation where, although he's been in command, still Stephan Johnson has been able to hang on.
Forever.
And this is round 7. Marv Albert with the fight doctor, Bertie Pacheco, Roy Jones in the white trunks, Stephan Johnson, and the black for the first time in the last round. Johnson went to the attack, although briefly.
Yeah, he went in for about a minute inside and was doing fairly well, although he was getting clipped a lot, and then all of a sudden got tired, backed out, and went back to perimeter fighting, which was a sort of a slow motion of the inside. He was still getting hurt. And if there was anything remarkable is that Jones began his dancing and hot dogging, which I don't agree with.
Obviously did not get the same response as he would in his hometown of Pensacola, but I think the hot dogging is all a matter of timing. Ray Leonard can look good doing it, Muhammad Ali. Nice flurry by Jones, and this time the crowd does respond.
It's absolutely true. You have to prove who you are before you can do it. Ali could do it because he proved he was the greatest, and so could Leonard. Leonard was the greatest fighting at the time, and he proved it. It's sort of timing. I mean, it's an excitement that goes on in a fighter's mind, and he's happy, and he's doing everything he wants to, and he does what he wants to do. Right now, in this round, punching has gotten very, very hard. Jones has gone to the body a lot more, including the old shoe shine from the Olympics, which is a series of punches to the body. Johnson holding his own this round, although woefully tired now. He has been getting punched very hard, and now, more than any other time in this bout, Jones is going to the body. Jones just said, "Are you okay?" The guy wiped his hand, wiped his brow, and breathed in, and Roy Jones said, "Are you okay?" Solicitousness is part of his nature.
And we're under a minute left in the 7th round. We mentioned earlier that stamina might be a question with Stephan Johnson, but to this point we have not seen any signs of that being a problem.
Well, the problem we were looking for was, can Jones keep up this pro pace for 8 rounds? The answer is yes, he can. And the problem really comes down who to match this guy with, because the next one's a 10-rounder. this type of fighter is no longer in his category. Now he has to go up higher, and he may get too soon, too fast into real good competition.
So that is the end of the 7th round, and we'll stay right here. The 8th and final round is coming up.
Come on, it's all on now. Come on, sit down, sit down. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it.
My punch, I don't know.
Yeah, it's too much weight for you, baby.
Too much weight for you. That's what it is. No. Gotta go back to 46. Okay, there's nothing. I'm still here, no problem.
No, you want to be here at the end, but I want you.
And we can stay close to his chest. You're giving him the punching distance. Yeah. If you stay close and then we hands up, you can't touch him.
Just pull out the last round for these regular good. That's right, gentlemen. Yes, sir. That's fine. Put your arms down. I want your arms down. Put your arms down.
Take a deep breath.
Come on, that champ. The last
Now to the corner of Roy Jones.
Go out.
Very candid analysis by Stefan Johnson's cornerman's head.
They said, let's go back to 147. I said, wait a minute, I got one more round. I got to do one more round here. Can I resign? Is there some way out of here? And they got it just right. It is too much weight for him. Also too much speed. Also too much class. Also a much better boxer.
What does the fight doctor scorecard tell us? Through 7th.
Yeah, it's all the way across, 70 to 63. And the only problem has been multiplying 9 times rounds. Oh, a little fierce fighting on the inside by Stefan, trying to come in. Good body shot by Jones.
And Jones continues to headhunt in this opening minute of the 8th and final round. First part of our NBC boxing doubleheader. Later on Sports World, Vinny Pazienza. Vinny Verghese, good uppercut by Jones. That stunned Johnson, but still remains on his feet.
But by a shade, a little bit, one punch to follow that one, and he was gone. An uppercut snapped him, and he is in trouble. And of course, Jones wants this knockout.
Johnson has never been down. Looking very shaky, though. Halfway through the final round.
Jones is going for this knockout. Stefan Johnson extremely shaky. There goes that uppercut again.
Jones also guiding the right hand by holding with the left,
which is illegal. The referee looking at this very, very sharply, almost as if to say a couple of more of those, and I'm stopping this. That's it. He does.
Yes, it is all over. Randy Newman stopping the bout and the final minute of the 8th and final round. So Roy Jones, in his second professional bout, comes up with the technical knockout of Stefan Johnson. Well, although it was a clear-cut, overwhelming performance by Jones, there will be those out there who will say, well, why can't he knock out an opponent like Stefan Johnson earlier? What's your answer?
Well, this is his second professional fight. He's finding his way. This is school. He is in grammar school here. He has not exactly, this is not the finish. Now here, this is the uppercut, as you're seeing, that just right there the fight was over with. And of course, by the end of this, there was no reason for this to continue. Stefan Johnson was getting hit so hard, it could cause damage. The referee, very wisely, Randy Newman, stepped in and stopped the fight. I agree with
Bill Ray. And when the bell rings, the third man in the ring in charge of the action, Brian Gary. Now at this time, let's meet the fighters. Introducing first, in the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with gold and weighing 165 3/4 pounds. He comes into this ring tonight as a veteran of 44 professional bouts and has compiled a record of 37 victories against 6 defeats with 1 draw. 26 of those victories were over early by knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, from Glassboro, New Jersey, introducing the challenger and #1 ranked super middleweight contender in the world, the punch-in postman, Tony Thornton. And his opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing aqua and weighing in at 167.5 pounds. In 1988, he was voted the Olympic Games most outstanding boxer. He captured a silver medal, and since turning professional, he has 2 world title belts and a perfect record of 29-0. His punching power has earned him 25 knockouts, 15 KOs in 3 rounds or less, 6 KOs in the very first round, and he is considered by many to be, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, from Pensacola, Florida, presenting the undefeated super middleweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
All right, Rody, go it. All right, gentlemen, I'll be the 3rd man in the ring with you this evening in charge of this IBF World Title bout at all times. Avoid the use of your head as a weapon. No rabbit punches, kidney blows, or low blows. If you score a knockdown, go to the neutral corner and don't come out till I signal. Protect yourself at all times. Shake hands. Come out boxing at the bell.
And now, boxing fans, are you ready? Pensacola, Florida, are you ready? There's only one thing left to do. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
You said, Jim, that Thornton was a very honest, straightforward man, and he is. And when we asked him, well, how do you beat a Roy Jones? He said, you tell me. Well, now he's got to tell us.
He said very candidly in a pre-fight press briefing, it would be bogus to say I can outbox the guy. How do you outbox him? You were questioning yesterday, George Foreman, whether Tony Thornton would make the kind of commitment, take the kind of chance necessary to have a chance against a guy like Jones.
When you're going to fight a Roy Jones, that kind of boxer, that kind of fighter, you got to risk it all. You can't even care about getting scratched, cut. You got to be determined. It may kill me, but I'm going to win this thing.
Give it up. Keep it up.
Has he made that kind of commitment? We'll see. And in the interview, it didn't seem like he made that kind of commitment at all.
Your hands are free.
Roy Jones is in a strange situation here. He's expected to win, but you just can't do it dynamically against this kind of fight. This kind of fighter. You got to take your time. He's going to be around.
Fought against Antoine Bird here in March. He suspected he might have a shot at a first-round knockout, and he delivered it. We asked him if he would try for the same thing here tonight. He said, no chance. This isn't the kind of guy you would do that against.
This is probably the most solid fighter Roy Jones been in again. It's not the best, but he's solid.
Since James Toney or including James Toney?
Including James Toney. James Toney is a great fighter, a good fighter, but he goes outside sometimes the laws of boxing. This guy stays within the realms of good self-defense. If you're going to get him, it's because you're going to have to go to the body a lot, then come up to the head. You're not going to get him with one shot.
Jones backing into the ropes twice here in the first round and giving Thornton a chance to dictate the action at close range. Jones has had a couple of those fluid combination throwing moments, but by and large, he's been sizing up Thornton, and Thornton has taken advantage of the opportunity to show off his solid technique. Hard left hook by Jones. Thornton protecting himself as Roy tries to come with another left hook.
Thornton is very solid. You finish doing what you're going to do, then he gets right back on you with his constant solid. Hit you now and then on the body, in the chest, on the arm.
Thornton works very hard all year round as a solid, well-conditioned fighter. Jones, with those unorthodox leaping, ducking, and diving moves, landing rights and lefts as the first round winds down. Jones turns around into a southpaw stance.
I counted 6 big punches that Jones threw and missed on Thornton in the last 15 or 20 seconds. But Thornton didn't have any response. What he's trying to do is crowd him, keep him busy.
And Jones stayed in the southpaw stance for the last 20 seconds of round 1.
Bring your overhead punches down a little bit. Don't hit him on top of the head. Hard up there, man. In between that shoulder and his chin. All right. That's good. Way to work. Way to work. Good. Okay, there you go. Lip, and you want to hit it, right? Don't go over top too much. Okay. Make him go. See what I meant about those wide hooks that he throws? Bang, 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 bang. One right behind the other, but they're wide. 2 out of every 3 is a slut. 1 may be hard. Right? Go ahead and pull. We're good to go. His left eye got a little pocket in it.
Roy Jones is the hardest kind of fighter to fight because he's hard to hit and he hits hard.
Round 2 begins. Jones comes out in his conventional stance, back to the usual routine, and throwing the jab, something he didn't do against Tony in his most noteworthy performance.
Where most boxers practice and go out and do what they practice, sometimes their hands just automatically go. Roy Jones will not do anything unless he sees it. That makes him hard to hit because after he throws that punch, he's looking at your shoulder to make sure he's not going to get hit back.
And he has enormous confidence in his own intelligence. Roy is pretty convinced that he sees everything well in the ring and can think of what to do next. He doesn't look for answers. He thinks he has it.
Step back, got you.
Action slowing a little bit in round 2 as Thornton is reluctant to throw punches here.
Roy Jones is smart. He's starting to land some body punches too. Normally you won't see that in a good boxer, where he goes down to the body just in case I'm around here in 12 rounds. I'm going to take some of this energy away from this guy.
This is more than a minute of conventional boxing for Jones, working behind the jab, and Thornton might not have thought he'd see it. Now Roy getting fancy as he polo punches with the right hand. Thornton not quick enough to stop Jones's combinations, and now Thornton moves forward and momentarily stops Jones from punching by throwing his own.
Jones may get hurt, but he never loses focus. He stays focused, stays in the old orthodox stance. Why? Because you can only clown so much.
Oh! Low blow by Jones. Referee Brian Gary steps in and says, get him up.
All right, that's it. Keep it up.
Tony Thornton, according to punch stat numbers, has thrown 4 punches in the round. Now there are a couple of pawing lefts from Thornton. In his last fight against Vinny Pazienza, Roy Jones pitched a shutout in the 4th round, when for the first time in punch stat number history, Pazienza didn't land a punch in an entire round. It had never happened before.
Thornton was able to land 1 jab. Now to the outside observer, that means nothing. But hey, he had not been able to land 1 jab all night. Now he's got 1 in. Next time you get 2 in, and you're getting closer and closer to reaching Roy Jones.
You got to climb a mountain 1 hand at a time.
That's it, 1 punch at a time.
It was before the bell. It was before the bell. Thornton gets up easily.
You all right, Tony?
To beat the 8 count. And now that's the end of round number 3.
Round's over. It cannot be saved by the bell.
The
He was saved because he got up at the count of 8.
Yeah, the round ended. You're all right. They gave him the count after the bell. The round ended. You all right? Put it down. Put it down.
A leaping left hand puts Thornton down, and let us remind you, he has never been knocked out.
I hope you're pulling back from it. You know better than that. Okay? You're pulling.
Here it is. reflexes and power like this are rare to see. It's like seeing a combination ballet dancer and bouncer.
What a punch.
He puts no body into his punches either. All fist, like hands of stone.
But his shoulder gets into it. There's something
No,
unique.
it's all fist. He's got a hard he's got a good forearm there. Something. There's nothing in that but fist power.
Well, let's face it, he's unbelievably strong for 168 pounds. There's growing discussion about whether he can someday fight heavyweights.
Unbelievably strong is a good word.
Come on now, keep him up. Come on.
Jones in that round, 31 of 84, 37%. Thornton landed 5 of 18 punches in round 3. Or round 2, I should say. Thornton in trouble. Can't punch back.
Come on, Tony.